Well, in less than 24 hours, I'm hopping in the Gladiator, I'm hooking up the Patriot Campers trailer, and I'm heading 3,636 miles north to the Arctic Circle. And hopefully, if all goes well, I'll go swimming in the Arctic Ocean. Up and back, it's going to take me about 28 days, and it should be quite the adventure. And what I wanted to do today is sit down with a cup of coffee. I've got some notes and talk a little bit about why I'm doing this trip and kind of the planning that's gone into this and some of the things I'm going to be doing along the way and kind of my goals. Just hang out with you guys. We haven't done this in a while, a coffee one take. And so I'm excited to talk about this. So yeah, tomorrow morning, I'm hitting the road. Now, by the time you see this, I will have been on the road for a few days because I got to have some videos ready to post while I'm gone. But I will be doing some kind of check-in, sit-rep style videos along the way, and hopefully I can upload those. I'm taking Starlink with me, which isn't great for uploading, but hopefully I can maybe hit some spots a little on the way and report into you on how things are going. Now, I'm going to film like a full adventure video, but I just wanted to find a way to maybe just sit down at camp when I find a cool campsite and share with you how things are going, and just kind of a cool way to do that over a cup of coffee, hopefully, if all goes well. Okay, so let's start with why I'm doing this trip. And so if you go back to 2019, I was sharing with you guys the planning that was going into going to Alaska and going to Prudhoe Bay. And we had been planning that trip for a couple months. We had all our dates set. There was a good group of us that was going to go up there. And then the pandemic hit, and the borders to cross into Canada just became they were closed for a while, and then to come through we had to go back and forth to get there, just became a little challenging. And so we ended up canceling the trip, and we tried to reschedule, and getting everybody's schedules to mesh that we could all take that amount of time off just was not an easy thing to do. And it's something I've just been thinking about. It's like, man, I really want to go to the Arctic Circle. I've never been. I've been to Alaska, but I've never been to the Arctic Circle. I've never been to the Arctic Ocean. And this was the year I was just like, I'm just going. My schedule might be nuts. Everybody else's schedule might be nuts, but this is the year I'm going to do it. I'm just going to finally check this one off the block. And so I'm going. And I'm not going solo, although I will be solo for a few days. And then I'm meeting up with somebody, and then we'll go all the way to the Arctic Ocean with him. And then Regina's actually going to fly in for a few days on my way home, and we'll spend a little bit of time together, have a nice little vacation, and then I'll drive home solo. And so it'll be nice. I'll get some alone time in the vehicle and listen to some good audiobooks. But then I'll be hanging out with a good friend that you guys will recognize. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know pretty quickly here who I'm with. But I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to this. Now, the trip that I'm doing this time is not the trip that I planned in 2019. That trip was to go into Alaska and go all the way to Prudhoe Bay. And after thinking about it long and hard, I was like, one, I've been to Alaska before. I definitely want to go back and explore more and more and more. But that journey takes you to Prudhoe Bay, and you end up at basically a big oil industrial facility. And you can get access to the ocean, but you kind of have to get permission to do that. And it's not like you can just drive up to the ocean and just go swimming whenever you want. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted something a little more special. So I'm going up to Tuktoyaktuk, which is going to be amazing. There's some things that are already limiting our ability to get there, but I'll talk about those in a second. But I want to go to Tuktoyaktuk because you can camp right there in that small town, right on the water. You can go put your feet in the water. You can go swimming in the ocean, which I absolutely intend to do. Swimming's probably an overstatement. I will probably jump in really quick and jump out really quick. I imagine that water's pretty cold, but I'm going to do it. I can't not go there and do it. So that's why I want to go to Tuktoyaktuk. The drive up there is going to be incredible from everything that I've read and seen online. and staying at Tuck will be really cool. So cool, yeah, it's going to be cool. Okay, so now I talked a little bit about our route. So that's where I'm going, but we've already had to change plans. In fact, I was supposed to leave 2 days ago, but if you've been following the news, there's yet again this year some pretty major wildfires in Canada. And one of those wildfires is in a town called Fort Nelson, or right outside that town. And there's about 4,000 people that live in that town, and they've evacuated them. Roads are closed. The fire is like across the freeway. And that was the route that we were going to kind of go up north. The challenge is that's a pretty important fuel stop for our route, and kind of a resupply area. And to miss that fuel stop would mean we'd be going 380, 400 miles without fuel. And I think I'll be okay with the 400 miles, but I don't want to push it that hard. You never know what could happen. And that would really put me on fumes, which I don't want to do. So I don't have an extended fuel tank, but I am carrying 20 gallons of extra fuel in some jerry cans. So my range will be okay, but the roads are closed and who knows what's going to happen. So we're diverting, and we're going to go all the way, instead of coming up through Alberta, we're going to go all the way up through British Columbia and make our way up there and kind of bypass Fort Nelson. Hopefully, if all goes well, I can come that route home, so I can at least take a different route, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The other variable that might keep me from getting to Tuktoyaktuk, I'm going to make it to the Arctic Circle, but to get all the way to Tuk, there are two major rivers that you have to cross, and those rivers are most of the year are frozen over, and you just drive across them. And in the summertime they thaw, and there's a ferry that takes you back and forth during the day across those rivers. But there's this intermediate period where the ice is too thin to drive on, but it's so thick that the ferries aren't running yet. And so we're in that period right now. Now, I've been keeping an eye on the ferries very closely. There's a little website you can go to and just check in and see if they're open or closed. Those two are still closed, but the weather is starting to warm up. Warm is definitely an overstatement. It's in the low 40s during the day, and it's just now getting above freezing at night, which means by the time we get there in about a week and a half or so, hopefully, fingers crossed, those rivers will be flowing water and the ferries will be running. Generally, those ferries are running by June 1st, and we'll be there just shortly after. But that may delay us a little bit if they're still frozen. Maybe there's a cold front that comes in. Who knows? But that could prevent me from taking my swim, or at least my dip into the Arctic Ocean. Another important thing that I want to do along this trip is I actually want to do some fishing. And I know it doesn't make for a great video, but I'm going to do some fishing and hopefully catch some fish and cook it up for dinner. I'm going to take quite a bit of food with me. I'm going to freeze a lot of meat and stuff, so I'll have that. But I'm hoping to catch some fish along the way and eat it up. That'll be really good. Okay, so I mentioned the fires, so definitely something we got to keep an eye on. I'll tell you that on Onyx Off-Road, they have a great information about fires, and I want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Onyx Off-Road, because I've been planning my entire trip on Onyx Off-Road. They have a great route builder system on there, makes it really easy, and of course I've built that route now twice because of the diversion, and hopefully I don't have to redo it again, but if I do, it's a really easy tool to use. Plus, I've been marking all the important way stops along the way. Fuel is a big one. Grocery stores I've marked on there. Good points of interest, places that we want to stop, and then potential camping spots. I've got some good information from folks about good spots to camp. But Onyx is a great tool for planning the route, and it's just been a huge asset to me. And the great thing is that now all syncs with my phone, my iPad, where I've already downloaded a bunch of offline maps because I know there'll be some areas where I don't have any connectivity. So if you're not using Onyx Off-Road, I encourage you to check it out, and I will leave a link where you can go get 20% off. It's a good asset to me, and I thank them for sponsoring this video. Now, the fires, the good thing is that those are updated frequently, so I can keep an eye on those because, man, some of those fires, they're like they're like 20, 30 miles long. I mean, they're massive, massive wildfires. It's a shame what's happening up there. So it's definitely going to probably play a factor. Hopefully it doesn't, we're not smoked out. It doesn't ruin our view, but we'll see. I talked about fuel a little bit. I think I'm going to be fine. In fact, I'm hoping with all the fuel stops that I'm not tapping in to those cans that I'm carrying. But if I need to, I will. I'm towing the trailer, so I've got, my fuel economy will be a little lower than normal. But the trailer is going to be a huge asset because I've got, got a huge fridge and freezer in there. A good warm place to stay because I've got a diesel heater and just nice kitchen, and so the trailer is going to be a big asset. I've done a lot of work to the Gladiator to get it to this point. I was actually at Shift Auto Works just the other day, and we went through front to back and the entire Gladiator and kind of went through everything. I actually filmed that, so there'll be that video coming while I'm gone, talking about the inspection and some of the things we looked at. Some of the things that he found. We also talked about some tools that I need to make sure I have. I carry a pretty extensive tool bag, but he identified something I didn't have, and so I actually went and bought that. I actually bought some spare parts that I didn't have as well, and so a lot to talk about in that coming video, so keep an eye on that. That should play about a week from whenever this video launches. Now let's talk about trails. I plan on hitting some trails on the way up. They're going to be pretty mild in and out trails, but some places that I haven't been before, which will be cool. So I will film those. And then once I kind of get to Canada, it's really a lot of road miles. We'll be finding some cool spots to camp along the way, which will be on the dirt. But it's not like there's a whole extensive network of trails once you get up into the Northwest Territory where you can just go do a bunch of off-roading. If we find some, definitely going to do that, but it's going to be a lot of road miles. So the video series is going to be a lot about, kind of the adventure, the endurance of it all, hopefully the wildlife and the scenery, the places that we stop, camping life, all that kind of stuff. It should be fun, but it's not going to be a lot of trails. I'm going to take a drink of coffee, guys. My voice is getting scratchy. So, hopefully on the way home, we'll hit quite a few trails. We'll see how that goes. Now, I mentioned Regina's going to meet me, so I gotta balance things pretty well. We can't slow down for trail adventures too much because I have a little bit of time distance I have to meet. Now, I'm pretty, the military guy in me is, I plan my trips very carefully where like day one, I got to go travel, this many miles and it's going to take me this long and I got to reach this point. I've kind of left things a little bit open once I hit Canada because I know that there's going to be variables on how much time we want to travel each day. Maybe some days we'll travel 6 hours, maybe sometimes we'll just press hard and do 10 or 12. It'll just kind of depend on how we're feeling, but I didn't want to be like this really restrictive, rigid schedule. I wanted to allow some freedom to just kind of, hey, you know what? This is a great camp spot. Let's hang out here this morning for a little bit longer and enjoy it. Or, you know what? We really want to get to this destination today. Let's press hard. And so I've left the schedule pretty wide open. I've left enough time there that if we average about 6 to 8 hours a day, we're going to get there and back to the border and still have a little bit of time to spare. So we've kind of put in some extra time. So I think we'll be fine. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to just I'm not on a rigid schedule. It should be good. Camping along the way. Well, I'm camping the entire time. When I meet up with Regina, we're gonna stay at a hotel, and I'll probably need a shower by then. But I'm going to be camping the entire way, camping out of the trailer, and hopefully finding some good camp spots. Because of the delay, I'm actually going through the U.S. Memorial Day weekend. So that'll be interesting because a lot of you guys are probably out there camping, and so finding camping spots might be a little bit of a challenge. But as we head further north, I've had some people that have done this trip before, specifically the Epic Family Road Trip. They gave me some good points of interest and camp spots to hit on the way up there, and so I think we'll be fine once camping hits. I am you know, wildlife is a thing. I'm hoping to see lots of it, but I'm hoping not to see any of it in my camp. You know, so bear protection is going to be important. I have lots of bear spray, and I'm going to probably pick up another can or two just to make sure I have it everywhere readily available. I'm not taking any weapons with me, no firearms, because we're crossing the border into Canada. You can take like a shotgun or a rifle for hunting or protection, but I'm not bringing one. Honestly, my rifle isn't a hunting rifle, and I don't own a shotgun. I was gonna go buy a shotgun and then take it with me, but I just kind of procrastinated, and I haven't done that yet. So I'm just relying on bear spray. If you want to take like a shotgun with you, you need to declare it in advance. There's some paperwork you fill out before you hit the border into Canada, and then when you get to the border, you let them know what's going on. And I'm sure there's a little bit of a process that's involved. But I'm just not stressing about it this time. Normally, yes, I do carry some protection with me when I'm out camping, but this time I'm not, which will be fine. I got lots of bear spray, so it'll be good. So I'm now today I've got to pack my clothes. I've got to go get groceries because I still haven't done that, and just kind of one last time go through everything and make sure that I have everything I need. I know I don't have enough coffee, so I need to get that. But I'm going to check in with you guys along the way, and I'm looking forward to this adventure. I can't tell you how excited I am, guys. If you have questions, anything about this, put them down in the comments below. I may not be responding to them while I'm on the road, but I will do my best to at least read them. And if there's anything that comes up in there that I can report along the way, I'd love to be able to answer those questions. And look, if you're up in Canada or you've ever done this trip before and you know a place that I should definitely check out along the way, let me know, because I don't want to miss anything. I think we've got it pretty well planned out, but I'm sure that we're going to learn a lot from this adventure. I'm super excited, guys. I mean, come on. Going up through the Yukon, the beauty of this whole place. I'm stoked on this trip, guys. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me for this coffee one take. I've got to hit the road here soon. We'll see you guys in the next video.